right. First of all, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We're very excited to be launching the newest chapter of Young Republicans of Texas. We don't have a sign-up sheet tonight, but if you go to planoyr.com, there's a link to all of our social medias, everywhere to follow us, and you can submit your email there to be contacted for any future events that we're going to do. Because we're going to love to see this club grow. So without any further ado, I know you guys aren't wanting to hear me speak, so I'd like to introduce our speaker for this evening. He is the president of Dallas Young Republicans, and he is the head of the Young Republicans of Texas organization. Please give a warm welcome to Chad Cohen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I sure appreciate it. My name is Chad Cohen. I am the president of Dallas County Young Republicans. I am also the chairman of Young Republicans of Texas. Young Republicans of Texas is proud to be the official youth auxiliary of the Republican Party of Texas. We are also proud to not be affiliated with the Texas Young Republicans Federation or Young Republicans National Federation. So thank you all again for coming out tonight. Thank you for your energy and your commitment. Tonight, I want us to talk about the new generations that are entering the political arena. While Gen X and baby boomers still hold most elected positions, Gen Z and millennials are beginning to have a real impact on American politics. I think that in order to understand my generation, the millennials, we have to answer three questions. One, who are millennials? What events shaped us? Two, what issues are most important to us? And three, what do we want? What do we want America to be? We millennials are a generation all too acquainted with times of crisis and historic upheaval. For those of us born between 1981 and 1996, we're a generation that came of age during 9/11 and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. In our formative years, sitting in our classrooms in school, we experienced 9/11. We learned that attacks on American soil can happen, that even the Twin Towers were susceptible to evil from across the world. The illusion of American invincibility was shattered just as we were beginning to observe the world around us. As children, we learned that America is vulnerable and that evil is real. The war in Iraq left our generation deeply skeptical of American military intervention abroad and the wisdom of the leadership at the highest levels of the military. As teenagers, we listened as the U.S. government struggled to explain to the American public exactly why we were in Iraq and what victory in Iraq looked like. We learned that the wise men running our military are not infallible. That skepticism has never left us. As the U.S. government continues to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and U.S. military leadership issues increasingly dire warnings about the necessity of Ukrainian victory, our generation remembers the lessons of Iraq. Millennials will not accept war without rationale or war without end. We entered college and the workforce just in time to experience the great financial crisis. The institutions on Wall Street, the big banks and global investment firms, were supposed to be the engines that would propel Main Street to better wages and better lives. The great financial crisis shattered that illusion for us. We learned that profits are privatized and losses are socialized for the largest institutions on Wall Street. The same lesson we learned in American military adventures abroad held true in American finance. Large institutions and the individuals running them were playing a game of heads, we win, tails, you lose. Our generation remembers the lessons of the great financial crisis. We're skeptical of an economy that creates enormous wealth for those connected to institutional power while leaving entrepreneurs, working people, and young people vulnerable. We're skeptical of free trade policy and open borders immigration policy that destroy jobs and wages. We're skeptical that profits on Wall Street translate to prosperity on Main Street. We reached adulthood at the onset of a global pandemic. We experienced government authoritarianism in our lives and the despotic nature of the experts. The experts assured us that surrendering our lives and our freedoms to their proclamations would save us. We witnessed a raw display of government power in our lives that shattered the illusion that freedom in America is secure. We learned that our freedom is vulnerable to attack from our own elected officials and, just as importantly, from unelected bureaucrats. Lastly, we grappled and continue to grapple with the thief that is inflation. Inflation robs us of our wages. It steals the value of our earnings. While inflation represents capital gains for the few, it represents a punitive tax for the many. As young people, our generation, early in our careers, we've been saving to buy homes and build families. We have been robbed by inflation. Inflation created by endless money printing by the Federal Reserve and ever-increasing spending by the federal government. Inflation is not inevitable. It is the result of irresponsible monetary policy and runaway fiscal policy. As the price of everything, from groceries to gasoline, cars to household items, have continued to skyrocket, our generation has learned the hard lesson that failed government policy can steal money right out of our pockets. That's who we are and what we've been through. So what issues do we care about? What are we for? We're for a strong border and immigration system that prioritizes the prosperity and safety of American citizens above citizens of foreign nations. We're for tax and trade policies that prioritize entrepreneurs and working people above big business and billionaires. We're for monetary policy that prioritizes sound money and stable currency for savers above bailouts for Wall Street. We're for foreign policy that prioritizes the security and well-being of Americans at home above the intervention abroad. We're for a domestic energy supply chain based on the utilization of abundant, secure oil and gas that prioritizes affordable, reliable energy above the green energy fantasies of climate alarmists. We're for a dramatically smaller government bureaucracy that prioritizes responsiveness to the needs of the people above the unrelenting expansion of its own power. We know what we're for. I'll end by thinking about what our generation wants America to be, what we want our leaders to be. There are times of war and times of peace. For our generation, this is a time of war. Not a war on foreign soil, but a war right here. It's a war for American identity. I end on this note because I think this is the fundamental question facing our generation. Who do you believe in? Do you believe in the new gods of climate alarmism, racial identity, gender identity, or sexual identity? Do you believe in the God of science and its ministers, the experts? Do you believe in the God of social justice? Because make no mistake about it, this is a time of religious fervor. The atheism of prior generations has been swept away, and our generation, for the first time in many generations, lives in a time of religious fervor. We will place our faith in some God. Much like in biblical times, there are many, many gods to choose from. It's my hope that our generation will place its faith in Jesus Christ, and that we will submit to and obey his commands. The war for American identity is not a good faith disagreement between reasonable people over marginal tax rates and budget deficits. It's a war about belief. We will place our faith in some God. It's my hope that we will place our faith in the one true God. This fight is about good and evil. Now, people tend to get uncomfortable when things get framed in terms of good and evil. But when you consider the mutilation of our children's bodies and minds, the eradication of the nuclear family, the poisoning of relationships between neighbors over radical ideologies, there's no other word for it. Our country has been hijacked by cultural terrorists. For the 9/11 generation, we know what to call this. This new breed of cultural terrorist seeks only destruction. The destruction of our police, our power grid, our quality of life, our faith in God. For cultural terrorists, destruction of our country is the goal. Defeating them will be a war for hearts and minds. One by one, we have to win the hearts and minds of those who have been brainwashed. We have to cleanse our institutions of those who work to undermine the freedom and prosperity of American citizens. We're a generation searching for authenticity and starving for conviction. We might be afraid to say it, but we are yearning for true believers. Our generation is ready for leaders that speak the truth plainly. In our generation's fight, each of us will have to answer a simple question. Are you in or are you out? If you're in, if you're willing to join this fight, you are promised a hard road. Whether it's setbacks professionally, loss of friends, exclusion from organizations, it will cost you. But there is opportunity. The opportunity before us is to transform America into a moral nation that places its faith in God and submits to his commands. We're not going to be responsible for saving America. I believe that God is sovereign. We'll pray for his blessing on our work. We'll pray that our nation will turn to him, and then we'll get to work. We'll ask for his blessing, and then we'll keep working. So that's what I wanted to talk about big picture tonight. I want to talk briefly, very specifically, about you, about the people in this room. What are we here for? Plano Young Republicans, Dallas Young Republicans, Young Republicans of Texas. What is the mission? What is the vision? What is the objective? We live in a time where our politics are small. Our politics are cynical. Our politics are immoral. And I believe that our politics are like that by design. I believe that there is an elected official class. There is a media class. There is a consultant class. There is an insider class that by design has made our politics so toxic that no rational person would want to get involved. And while you're staying at home on the sideline, they're going to keep running things the way they've always been running things. I'm here to say tonight, no more. I'm here to say tonight, our time has come. The time for waiting for other people to save us, to help us, that time is over. So we're going to build it ourselves. I want you to know that I am here because I work for you. Isaac is here because he works for you. Our job is to empower, to educate, to engage, and to activate the people in this room so that you can go save your community and that you can go save your home. I don't believe that change happens because of what the President of the United States says or does. I don't believe that change happens because of what the governor says or does. I don't even believe that change happens because of what happens on Election Day. I believe that change happens in a million different little ways every single day. Every single one of you in this room, you have a friend group, you have a professional network, you have family that respect you, that trust you, and that value your opinion. It may not seem like much, but you're going to have a cup of coffee with someone, they're going to say, hey, what do you think about this issue? And in that moment lies the potential for winning back our country. We want to equip you, empower you, and instill in you the confidence that you need to go win back your culture, to go win back your country, and to throw this class of insider out of power. They are scared of you. They are terrified of you. And let me tell you, they should be. When there is a group of true believers united by genuine conviction, there's nothing that can stop you. Great things start in small rooms like this. A few years back, I went to my first Dallas Young Republicans meeting. There was about 12 people in that room. There was nowhere near this many people. And I looked around and said, we're in Dallas, Texas. Why is there nobody here? This is Young Republicans. It doesn't make any sense. And so I kept coming back. I invited some friends to run with me for the board. And, I'm proud to tell you that at our election night watch party last year, we had close to 500 people in attendance. I look at Isaac, I look at the people in this room, I have every confidence about what you're going to accomplish. There is nothing holding you back. I want to challenge you, keep coming. I know that you have family obligations. I know that you have work obligations. Maybe you just want to sit on the couch, and I don't blame you for that either. But keep showing up, because the opposition, they're not going anywhere. We're going to outwork them. We're going to show them that our politics can be better and they will be better. I want to thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of this special night, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do with your club. Thank y'all.